Welcome to the County Conversations Podcast, brought to you by the Florida Association of Counties Institute for County Government with support from the University of Florida's IFAS. In this podcast, we dive deep into the diverse and dynamic world of Florida's counties with engaging interviews and thought-provoking conversations surrounding the challenges as well as successes of Florida's counties. Each episode brings you first-hand perspectives from county commissioners, government officials, community leaders, and subject matter experts who are shaping the future of our state. We explore a wide range of topics from economic development and public safety to environmental conservation and emerging technologies. Our aim here is to provide a platform for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and inspiration for county officials and residents alike. Whether you're a county commissioner, government professional, or simply interested in understanding the local government landscape, we hope this podcast provides valuable insights and practical takeaways on all things counties.
All right, we're live here at the Florida Association of Counties annual conference in Orlando, Florida. I'm here with a special guest, state representative, Navy, do it all, former county commissioner. Man, what haven't you done? I'm here with Representative Holcomb. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. There's probably a lot I haven't done, but let's talk about stuff we have done now.
All right. So first question is, what inspired you to get into public office? You can talk about your representative, or you can talk about county commissioner.
Probably some mental illness is a part of it, but really seriously, you want to give back, but you want good things to happen where you live, and you want the place where you sleep and eat and your family's going to grow. You want it to be good. So, I thought about this back in 2013. I watched then Blazing Golia filed to be a representative in my county back then, and someone said, well, what about you running for county commission? And I was just like, that had never crossed my mind before.
Wow.
But the weird thing is, so I was kind of one of those weird kids that followed politics from a very young age, from my teens, and it's like devoured politics. For whatever reason, it just was a thing for me. So I was in the REC for many years, and it was an open seat in the district that I lived in, and then started talking to some people, and just learning more about politics and running a race, and what does a county commissioner do, and all these things, and as I was gathering information, someone had filed for the open seat, and then some other people reached out. They're like, they didn't care for the person that had filed, so it's like, we want you to run. And I was like, so it kind of clicked, and worked real hard. I was outraised by about 2.5 times what I was able to raise. Wow. And had some good information from people who knew about campaigns, knew a lot more than I did at the time, and so they told me my path to victory was knocking on doors. So that's what I did.
The community. That's
knocked on doors.
That's right.
And I had a very simple message. I'm a conservative veteran Republican.
Yes, sir.
And handed them my palm card with some of the, basically, it was just my resume at the time. And
just your resume.
told them, love to have their support in the primary. And I won that primary out of, I think it was a little over 8,000 votes. I won it by 79 votes.
Wow, 79 votes.
79. It was nerve-wracking.
So with that being said, how has your experience as a state representative, what have you learned? What have you gained? What are you going to take back to your community as a county commissioner?
It's helped me a lot. It's a great opportunity, and it's also kind of a frustrating opportunity all at the same time, because being at the state level, I got to hang out with the governor sometimes, and that was cool. And I can safely say that the governor would recognize me if we crossed each other in the hallway.
Awesome.
So that's great. And we had, I think I served with the best governor that the United States of America has probably ever had. I'm going to say that for 4 years.
Wow.
And it was an honor to be serving with him. But then there's times that there's bills that I know that I come across, and I'm like, I don't think this is a good bill for the state of Florida.
Yes, sir.
And you're encouraged to support it or whatnot, or even when you don't vote for it and you just watch it pass, and it's just like, man, that's going to hurt. That's not going to be good for either for my county or my district or for certain sections of the state. And I'm like, we could have done better. That's probably one of the biggest differences from county versus state. you don't always win, the votes on the county level, but you get to make your decision, and with the best information that you have available to yourself, and it's just it's a different decision making process, because sometimes you're part of the sausage making process in the state level, and sometimes there's benefits to it where it's like, yeah, I'm fighting for appropriations too, because those are important for your district.
Of course.
And you're fighting for the other bills that you personally have filed, and you're working on those for your district and for the entire state, depending on what the bill is. So there's more things happening than just this certain vote on this certain issue that usually happens in the county.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like you have a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. You're going to have future county commissioners watching this, county commissioners who may want to transition into the state level. What's your biggest challenges that you've dealt with so far? What have you overcame that you can share with others?
So I would encourage it. I remember I came to a FACT conference. I want to say it must have been in 2022 because I had filed, but I hadn't gotten into office yet, or maybe in 2021, somewhere in that time frame. I would encourage it. We need more local legislators from school boards,
right.
City councils, county commissions, because you come to the legislature with a bank of knowledge. You know what impact fees are. You understand property tax bills. You understand so many more things than a straight senator or representative who hasn't had that experience.
Exactly.
They got to learn that stuff on the fly, and it's a different ball game for some of those folks than the folks who come there with experience. So, and you also have some advantages of knowing how to campaign and to carry yourself and conduct business as an elected official. So I think I missed part of your question. And
No, I think you answered it perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of experience that you can bring, and it's different. Like I said, you're exposed to more things on a state level. You're exposed to things in some ways on a federal level, because some of the bills that you may take up a bill because things aren't being addressed on a federal level, and there's things called memorials, where it's something you're trying to do on the state level to say, this is a memorial to ask Congress to do something because they're not doing it. We have some of those opportunities also. So it can be a very unique situation where it can be very high profile in what you're doing. Because if you do pass a bill that maybe it's your own idea that you've experienced on the local level, it hasn't gotten done, you're affecting 23.5 million people, 67 counties. So it can have a great impact.
So with that being said, Commissioner, what has shifted your mindset to want to go back to county government? I know most people, you've already been a commissioner. You've already been in the state level. Most people say that, I'm done. I already did my service. What continues to push you forward and continue to power you?
The decision pretty much comes from it's never one thing, but I would say the prominent thing for me is it's family right now. I'm in a situation where I'm older. Some of the folks around me are older.
Young. He still looks young.
I'm old. You listen to my knees when I stand up. And then being away so much, especially this last year, especially the last 2 years, being away so much, it's taking a toll on the family. And there's some people in my immediate family that have some medical needs, and if I'm not there to help them with that, then it falls to someone else.
Yes, sir.
And it's just a responsibility that falls to someone else that I don't want to happen. I want to be there for that responsibility myself, and because sometimes you're just away, and it's just like, really, the bad things always the things that happen, and they always happen when you're away.
Yeah.
The washing machine breaks when you're away. Someone needs to go to the doctor when you're away. None of that happens when you have the time to deal with it when you're at home. And so that's kind of the main thing. And there's some certain frustrations. We were able to do some really good things under Speaker Renner my first 2 years in office. And yes, Governor DeSantis was running for president, but I think the conservative agenda that we put forth in those 2 years was not to be touched by I think any state legislature in the country for a very long time. I think it was very impressive, and I asked Speaker Renner at the time. He was doing roundtables with small groups of us, and I said, Speaker, how does this compare to other legislatures? You always see the press will hammer the Republicans on certain things and this and that, because that's what the press does. And I'm like, are they even able to keep up with what's going on? He said, no, they can't keep up because there's usually, maybe it's a handful, 4 or 5 things of hot issues that are happening in the state with the bills going through the legislature. He's like, we're probably at 12 to 15 or more things that are going through the legislature that they just can't even keep up with the questions that they're asking the speaker
100%.
about. So, and it was really impressive and kind of an honor, very honored to be a part of that. But things changed after that, and that was also, like I said, there's many things that made up the decision. But it was kind of frustrating to see the tone change where there wanted to be division between. They really wanted to be a division between the people that elected us they elected us, the people that supported President Trump, they supported Ron DeSantis.
Yes, sir.
And you could definitely see that they tried to divide a wedge between
The two
those
sides.
great Republicans that are leaders in our country. And it's like, I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Me neither,
You're doing it for reasons that are beyond me, maybe personal reasons or trying to move ahead in some way. And I find that very frustrating.
Yes, sir. Unity is always crucial. Well, with that being said, I just want to transition. What is your favorite accomplishment, your best accomplishment? And what is something that you're proud of that you've done in the state level or at the county commission level?
I point to some of the bills that we were passing their first couple of years. We did a lot of good in law enforcement. So with the illegal immigrants, we did a series of bills toughening up things there. We did a series of bills dealing with DEI. Because it wasn't just in one section of government, it was in multiple sections of government. And one of the things that I will never forget was being on the House floor, because when it came up, I'm like, I'm not leaving my seat no matter what. I don't care if I'm thirsty or I'm hungry or whatever. I stayed in my seat to watch this because I really wanted, in Hernando County, where I'm from, and parts of Pasco County was part of my district in the state legislature. It's a deep red area, Hernando, Pasco, Citrus, all deep red area.
Yep.
So I don't come across people like this, but I wanted to see how it would play out. And we dealt with 3 bills. We dealt with men going into women's bathrooms. We dealt with gender transition surgeries for kids. And then we dealt with drag queen performances in front of kids.
Where do we go from here as a state? Whether it be the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, where do we go as a unified state of Floridians?
I see great things for Florida because
It's booming right now.
It's great for Florida. We've had great leadership coming from the governor being in charge for 8 years. I think we're going to have a great leader, whoever it may be. We got some good names at the top of the Republican ticket for governor. I think one of those folks is going to do a great job. He's seen great leadership and great agendas. So I see good things for that. And I pay attention to some other states. Idaho's done some good things. Texas does some good things. Tennessee does some good things. Some other states hopefully will turn the corner. Maybe some North Carolinas will step up. Oklahoma has a pretty good conservative legislature. But you always got to be aware of the structure of some of those states. How do they do things? How do they determine who their speaker is going to be? Texas does it like Washington D.C. does it. I don't agree with that. We do it differently here in Florida. The class that comes in chooses their speaker for their class. I think there's some positives to that. It's not perfect, but there's some positives to that. So really, the structure of how states are handling things in the future. I mean, California's they're crazy. So it's just like, are those states going to go crazy? The New Yorks, the Californias. Maine is really, really crazy too, and you just wouldn't think of it. They're like little California. So that's one thing you get exposed to at the state level. You join some of these organizations where you get to network with other legislators from around the country, and it's very beneficial to. A lot of them were coming to us Florida legislators and say, "Hey, what was this bill about? Tell me about this bill." We heard good things, and that's great that we can talk to them about that. But we want to steal from other states too, and help other states get better. But some of those other states, they may go so crazy that more people want to come to us, and the Texases and the Tennessees and the Idahos and the Oklahomas. So and we may be getting an influx. A lot of people were always scared about New Yorkers coming to Florida.
Yeah.
And if you check the voter registration, it's the Republicans in those states are coming here because they can't stand it anymore. They're too fed up, and it's those people that are coming. So, but it's good to keep track of the voter rolls, and so we're a closed primary state. I agree with that. I think that's a good policy in Florida, because why should Democrats choose who our Republican nominee should be? So if you got all the Democrats deciding they want to vote for the softest Republican in a race, and then the strongest Republican can't win conservatively, that's not what we want. So I think we got some good structure here in Florida. Some other states may need to look at that, which is why maybe a South Carolina should be a stronger conservative state. Maybe there's some structural things why that can't happen, but they're a very red state in many ways. And Alabama, Georgia, well, Georgia's got Atlanta, but maybe some other places that maybe it's their structure that sometimes they can't quite be where they should be.
Okay. Yes, sir. And we can go ahead, and this is the last question. It's just, what wisdom can you impart onto a young politician or somebody who's interested to getting into politics?
So, a lot of people, I've seen a few people now that they just want to jump right into the campaign. I would say go do something in life. Join the military.
Yes, sir.
Go start a business. Go work in a business. And this is one thing that I had a fundraiser last night, and I told some of the folks there a little bit about my history, and I'll share this. I went to work at a very young age, and I'll blame my parents because they want to dress me in these horrible clothes, and I'm like, no, I'm going to be a better dresser than this, Mom and Dad. You can't dress me in that shirts with the waistbands at the bottom of the shirts. I got to do better, Whatever motivates you, though.
Yep.
But so, I wanted to work hard and save up some money and have some things, whether it's a car to drive or whatever motivates you, but to have some money to do some things. And I learned that if I work hard and I help the people around me, whether it's an office or what have you, and they respect you, they're not always going to be in that position, in that job. They may go and start another business, or they may go to a higher position in another company. Because especially when I started out, that whole go get a job and work in a factory, and that factory or that business will take care of you, and you're going to get a pension, and you're going to get health care.
It's not like that.
That wore away when I was coming up. It's more about you go to a company, you'll get a 401k, and you can take that to your next company, and you can make more money at the next company, because some companies, they just want to get you in and pay you a salary, and you accomplish the task for them.
That's right.
And it's like, okay, that's what you want. But then you can move on and go to the next company and maybe start your company, or maybe someone at that company loves you and they're going to start a company doing something because they've seen it and they're going to do it better and they're going to do it wiser, and they'll take you with them. So it's like, be the person that someone wants you to start a company with.
That's
so
right.
Be that person, and that's a great way to do it. And that could be for politics also. If someone's starting their campaign and they're like, man, I really like the way you do things. You're a hard worker. You show up. You could be their campaign manager. Or you could start as an intern. It's just a great way to do it in life. And you're going to find things will come to your way a lot easier in life when you're out there working hard. You're going to get so many people's respect. Because one day you'll get the respect of the right person, and that's going to help you launch to something else.
Amen. Definitely get your feet wet first. I take from that. So, Representative Holcomb, thank you so much for this interview. We appreciate your time, and we hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for your service as a Navy veteran.
We didn't even talk bombs. We could talk bombs, too.
If you want to get into it, go ahead.
Hey, I'll tell you real quick. I joined the Navy Reserves as an intel officer, and I did it to try and make a difference. Reservist is a different life, but God bless all those people who put on the uniform. It's not an easy life. It's not an easy life for reservists, especially. But I was blessed to be a part of U.S. Central Command for many, many years. I was also served in an NCIS unit for a few years at the end of my time. It was a really cool there's some hard parts to being in the military, but when you're doing the job, it was really kind of fun.
All right.
Deployed to Qatar during Operation Inherent Resolve.
Yes, sir.
And almost all my time at CENTCOM was blessed to kind of stay in the same realm of of dropping bombs, creating targets. We call it warheads on foreheads. So all of that kind of revolved around that standpoint. So sometimes in the intel business, you can get off into signals intelligence and human intelligence and various other things. So I was able to kind of stay in a very small but broad lane for a while, and that was really kind of cool to be a part of that. And they do some really tough things there at CENTCOM, and it's some interesting things. You learn a lot, learn a lot about the Middle East and what's going on there, and it's really an interesting part of the world, and it's very active, unfortunately. But honored to be a part of that, and retired March 1st of this year.
Wow.
And so focusing on other things.
Yep.
Politics being one of them.
And how is that how is your experience in the military? How has that affected your just your leadership abilities, your stances? Like, how has that affected your beliefs?
So I'll say, first of all, I got a master's degree in intelligence studies, and what I did my master's research on was Afghanistan, and so from that research, I really had a deep love for our first responders. It really showed me that if you have a corrupt country, you're going to have corrupt law enforcement. Right. And if you don't have corrupt law enforcement, you're not going to have a good country. It starts with that basic structure of being able to drive down a road and not have to stop at a checkpoint and pay someone money to continue on the road, or be able to drive down a road and not get shot at, or just all these sorts of things that
actually have roads,
we take for granted each and every day that can happen in a country in Afghanistan, like during a time of war, or you name Somalia, the country I studied for a while, and Sudan, and all these places where when terrorists are in charge, you're a victim each and every day of your life.
Yes, sir.
Another part of the military is you have change of leadership every few years, so you get to see a lot of different leadership styles, and so that's helped me from, being in office and seeing different leaders, and I'm like, seeing that happen so many times. You're like, I like the way this person did things here. I don't like the way this person did things here. I would change it. It kind of keeps your mind moving. I'm like, way to help you at least grow mentally about how you like leadership. So
that's awesome. And my father's father-in-law is Army veteran. Did 3 tours. I know he did Iraq, Afghanistan. So my grandfather also served in Vietnam. So I have deep respect for our veterans. And again, thank you for your service. Representative Holcomb, any final words?
Thank you for the opportunity. God bless our soldiers. God bless those people who, our first responders.
Yes,
we say thank you for your service because they're never going to get a paycheck that's worthy of the work that they put forth, and our military members. So thank everyone, and thank you for being here and doing this, because for our county commissioners that are working here and the staff that are here and learning about different things, it's great for them to collaborate.
Yes, sir.
That's one thing that happens in Tallahassee way more than it does in the county with the Sunshine Law thing. Let county commissioners from one county talk to another county, talk to a bigger county commissioner, to a little county commissioner from a little county, talk about those things so they can bring ideas back to their counties. It's a great opportunity for them.
That's right. Unity keeps everything moving. So with that being said, we're live again in Orlando, Florida at the FAC Annual Conference. Thank you, Representative Holcomb. You guys have a blessed day. God bless everybody.